What's up guys, Johnny here bringing you an AOT deck tech. This is for my core deck and it's yellow red because I'm too poor and can't afford green at the moment. So yeah, let's take a look at it. So at level 0 I run 4 of these 0025 Mikasas. She's at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase you can put the top card of your deck into the waiting room. If it's a core character, she can run to an empty slot in the center stage. So she's just a runner. She helps build stock, keeps card advantage, and so you don't have to play more cards from your hand. And just a really good card. Since I played SAO, she's kind of like my Kirito's. That's why I run 4 of her, because you really need to see her in your opening hand. I run 2 of these 001k errands. He has a Brainstorm, pay 1, rest him, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. For every climax, you can search your deck for a core member, and during your turn, he gives the middle character in the center stage 1000 power. Next, I run 2 of these 00500 Levi's. He's a global 500 to all your core characters, and when he comes from your hand to stage, you can choose one of your opponent's characters in the front row, and it gets minus 1000 power. Next I run 2 of these 002k Hanjis. She's a generic on play, pay 1, discard 1, search for a Titan or a core member. So that's probably why she's 2000 power, since she searches for both traits. Then I run 2 of these 002k Mikasas. Her ability is during the attack phase when a character moves to another slot, they get 1000 power, and her second ability is Brainstorm, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. For every climax, you can salvage a core character and discard 1 card. Then I run 2 of these 001k Stock Reverser errands. When he direct attacks, you can give a character 1500 power, and when he becomes reversed, if he's facing a level 0, you can send that character to your opponent's stock and then the bottom card of your opponent's stock into the waiting room. And then onto my tech choices. I run 1 of these 0025 Kristas. On play, pay 1, clock yourself 1, and then you can salvage a level 1 or lower. And then lastly, I run 1 of these Chimi Sashas. If she's alone on the stage, she gets 2000 power, and on play you can look at the top card of your deck and leave it there, put it at the bottom. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 16 level 0s. Moving on to level 1s. Have 4 of these 1045 errands. He has Clock Encore, and during your turn he gets 500 for every other core character. 4 of these 1045 Mikasas. If you do not have an errand on the field, she cannot stand during your stand phase. And if you do have an errand on your field, she gets plus 1/5 power. And her last ability is a climax combo with the Red Stock Soul. On attack, you can pay 1 and salvage an errand in your waiting room. So she's a good card because the set really lacks a good advantage engine at level 1, so she's the best thing we have, and she salvages for errands, so it's not too terrible. You can search out, you can salvage these from your waiting room if you don't have them, or you need more, or you can salvage out this next card. This 104k Aaron. On your turn he gives 1000 global, and you can rest him and give a core character 500 power. So between these 2 cards, for level 1s, you can salvage these cards if you don't have either or you can search for your late game Aaron. So she's a decent card, and anyone who knows me knows I like on attack pay 1 effects, just because it helps keep your stock clean. Next I run 2 of these 116Ks. Sasha, if you have 2 or more core members on your field, she gets 1/5, and she gets Clock Encore. So 1175 of Clock Encore is pretty crazy. So she's a good card. And lastly, I used 2 of these events. 10 event backup. When you use this backup, you can search your deck for a core character, add it to your hand, discard a card, and choose one of your characters in battle and move it to an empty slot on the stage. So pretty interesting event. It hand fixes you and searches your deck, so it compresses you, and it helps protect your characters. So it doesn't help beat your opponent's characters, but it saves yours, and it fixes your hand. So it's a pretty cool card. So that's 6, 10, 14 level 1s. Moving on to level 2. Level 2 is quite small. I have two of these 2/17k Mikasas. Up to twice per turn when a core character comes into play, she gets 1000 power. And then her second effect is Encore phase change to her level 3. At the beginning of your Encore, if she's rested, you can pay 2 and send her to the waiting room to play the level 3 from your waiting room. And then I run 2 of these 2/1 Titan's Power event backups. It's a 4000 power backup, and when you use the backup, your battling character gets the effect when it reverses its opponent, send it to memory. So it's a pretty good event backup. It gets 4000 power, and it can get rid of those pesky Encore cards and or level 3 cards that your opponent would pay 3 to save, like Mariga for example. So level 2 is pretty small because the set does have an early play. I run 3 of these 3/2/9/5 errands. If your opponent controls a level 3 character, he gets -1 level in your hand, and he gets 500 power for every other core character on your field. And his last effect is on the turn he's played. If his damage is cancelled, you can burn your opponent for 1. Next I run 3 of these 3/2/9k Mikasas. She's a heal on play, and if you have 2 or more core characters, she gets +1 2000 power. And at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can pay 1 and choose her and another core character on your field and exchange them and then stand them. And then lastly for level 3s, I run 2 of these 3/2 Armans. He can't be targeted for your opponent's effect, and he is also an assist. He gives all your core characters in front of him +2000 power and the ability that they can't be targeted by effects. And his last ability is on play. Look at the top X cards of your deck, X equal to the number of core characters on your field, including himself, and choose a card, add it to your hand, and discard the rest. So he's a really good assist. He makes it so basically your whole field can't be targeted by effects, so they can't be bounced or targeted by event backups or stuff like that. Also on play, he can search out for your other level 3s. So that's 8 level 3s. And then for climaxes, I run 4 red stock soul for the level 1 combo, and then 4 gates because, like I said before, the deck doesn't really have any good solid way of building advantage, so it needs all the help it can get. Moving on to how I play the deck. Level 0 is pretty basic. You play this Mikasa and you just run around, build stock, and keep your hand. Sometimes I do have too much hand because of her, so sometimes I play my Aaron in the back row if I have him, or my other Brainstormer. If your opponent has, or if you don't draw her, or you just need to play more cards from your hand because you're building so much hand, there's the stock reverser to get rid of your opponent's huge characters. Hanji to search for cards in your deck that you need, and Krista to play for if you need cards in your waiting room, or if you don't have anything on your field, you can just play the Sasha, and she's also a top check. So level 0 has a lot of tech and lots of options that you can choose from to do, and basically it just sets up nicely for your level 1 game. And level 1, you preferably have at least something like this in your back row, and something like this in your front row. Have some of these 1/0 Mikasas, play the climax combo, and this is, like I said, when you salvage this Aaron or this Aaron, depending on what you need at the time moment. So generally I like to replace the Levi with this Aaron, just because more power and the Brainstorm is very valuable in this deck. Once again, has problems plussing. So there's also Sasha for you if you need some extra power, and of course the 3D maneuver gear to keep your characters alive. Level 2 is basically playing level 3s. There's the encore phase change to play, and if your opponent either hit level 3 before you or they just played early level 3s, you can play the 3-2 Aaron on the field. So then level 3 is just play Mikasa's, heal, play Armin's, and play more Aaron's, and just try to finish your opponent off. The deck doesn't have green, so it doesn't really have any finishers besides Aaron, and even he's kind of okay at best. So moving on to alternatives. So an alternative backup at level 1, if you don't feel like running away and feel like actually taking on your opponents and being a man about it, is this 102K Mikasa. She is a 1000 power backup, and when you use the backup, if you have an Aaron on the field, you can give the battling character another 1000. So she works well because sometimes, or more often than not, you have any combination of these in your back row and this in your front row. So it meets her condition and it becomes a 102K backup essentially. So it's a really nice backup. There's also this 10 5K Armin. There's also this 10 5K Armin. He climax combos with the yellow stock soul. When you on attack, he can pay 1 and he gets 2000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. And the ability at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can choose him and another character, stand him, and switch. So he's kind of like the 3D maneuver gear built into a climax combo, and he gets plus 2000 power. So he hits respectable power, and yellow stock soul is good. So that's another thing you can use if you don't want to use the Mikasa climax combo. Also at level 1, an alternative is this 104K. On play, she gets plus 1 level and 1000 power. And when she is frontal attacked, you can pay 2 and play this 2-2 from your hand. And this 2-2's effect is it can't side attack, and it gets 500 for every other core character on your field. And when she reverses her opponent with the gate in play, you can burn your opponent for 1. So she's a pretty beefy card. If you get her out at level 1, it's even worse for your opponent. And lastly, next is this 2145 Mikasa. She's a level assist. If you choose not to run the Armin assist, I would suggest running this one because I think this is the only level assist the set has. So she's a level assist to front, and when she comes into play, you can discard a climax to salvage a core character. So pretty good level assist. And lastly, we have this 2175 Aaron. He climax combos with the wind. When you play the wind, you can pay 1 and send him to memory and play this 3-3 Titan Aaron from your hand. He's a 3-3 12K, and on play, you can search for your deck for a core character and add it to your hand. And his first effect is, if this character is in your memory, he gets plus 1500 power. And the ability, when he reverses his opponent, send it to memory. And lastly, his last effect is, at the beginning of your encore, you can pay 1. If you don't, you have to send him to memory and play this Aaron from your memory. So it's basically pay 1 to keep this 3-3 12K on your field. It's an okay combo. It combos with the wind trigger, which is nice if you really want to go to anti-meta route and run red stock soul and wind trigger to bounce your opponent's characters. And really the only other cards are green, but like I said, the deck itself just bled me dry, so I couldn't put green in at the moment. But notable cards from green is the 2-1 7K Levi. If you have 4 or more core characters on your field, he gets -1 level, so he can come out at level 1. And then if you have all core characters, he gets plus 1000. And during battles involving him, both players can't use backups. So he would be an alternative to running this 1-1 Sasha, but I'm kind of on the fence about him because he can't be hit by level 1 reversers, but Sasha has Clock Encore, and Levi only gets to 8k, and Sasha is only 500 less than him, and she has Clock Encore, so I don't know if I would change her out for him or not. And of course, at level 3 you have the level 3 Levi, which is really the set's only finisher. He climax combos with this gold bar right here. When you play the gold bar, you can take a core character from your clock and play it to your stage. And his other effect is, on the turn he's played, when he reverses his opponent, up to once per turn, you can pay 3, discard 1 core character, and send a core character from your field to the waiting room. And you can stand him and move him to an empty slot on your field. So he's a flashy restander, and he's just really the only finisher that AOT has. So I would definitely put him in, and probably put 2 of these bars in when I get the money. But yeah guys, that's the deck. Hope you enjoyed.